Haile Selassie, the last emperor of Ethiopia, was a figure of immense significance. He was born Tafari Makonnen in 1892. He ascended to become emperor in 1930. He is a symbol of African resistance against colonialism. Selassie modernized Ethiopia and left a lasting legacy. His rule saw Ethiopia evolve. He introduced a new constitution. He championed education and Pan-African unity. Selassie's legacy is complex and multifaceted. He remains a revered figure. He is particularly important to Rastafarians. They revere him as the embodiment of God. His life and reign continue to fascinate. Selassie's story is one of resilience, ambition, and enduring impact. Tafari Makonnen's early life was steeped in nobility and political intrigue. Born in 1892, he was surrounded by the complexities of Ethiopian court life from a young age. He was a descendant of the Solomonic dynasty, a lineage that traced its roots back to ancient times. This dynasty claimed lineage to King Solomon and the Queen of Sheba, imbuing Tafari with a sense of historical destiny. He received a comprehensive education, which was rare for Ethiopian nobility at the time. This education blended traditional Ethiopian learning with European influences, providing him with a unique perspective. His sharp intellect and political acumen saw him rise quickly through the ranks of Ethiopian nobility. He became regent to Empress Zewditu in 1916, a position that required deft political maneuvering. He navigated complex power dynamics, balancing traditional authority with modern aspirations. Over time, he gradually consolidated his authority, earning the respect and loyalty of many. He championed modernization while respecting tradition, a delicate balance that defined his rule. Upon Zewditu's death in 1930, Tafari Makonnen was crowned emperor, a momentous occasion in Ethiopian history. He took the name Haile Selassie I, meaning power of the Trinity, symbolizing his divine right to rule. This marked the beginning of a new era for Ethiopia, one that promised progress and stability. Selassie was determined to lead his nation into the modern world, implementing reforms that would lay the foundation for future generations. Haile Selassie. I embarked on an ambitious modernization program. He believed in education as a key to progress. He expanded schools and established the country's first university. He reformed the legal system and introduced Ethiopia's first constitution in 1931. His efforts to modernize the infrastructure were significant. Roads, hospitals, and communication networks were developed. He sought to strengthen Ethiopia's international standing. He joined the League of Nations in 1923. This was a move to protect Ethiopia's sovereignty. However, his reforms faced internal resistance. Traditional elites feared the erosion of their power. Despite these challenges, Selassie's vision transformed Ethiopia. He laid the groundwork for a more modern and unified nation. Haile Selassie, I became a symbol of African resistance against colonialism. His leadership and unwavering spirit inspired many across the continent. He condemned Italy's brutal invasion of Ethiopia in 1935, a blatant act of aggression that shocked the world. His impassioned speech at the League of Nations in 1936 resonated globally. He appealed to the international community for support and justice. His words highlighted the plight of Ethiopia and the failure of collective security. The world began to see the true face of fascist aggression. Forced into exile, he refused to surrender to Italian aggression. His resilience became a beacon of hope for oppressed people everywhere. Selassie's defiance made him a hero, a rallying figure for anti-colonial movements worldwide. His legacy inspired generations to fight for their freedom. After World War II, he returned to Ethiopia in 1941 and continued his modernization efforts. His vision for a modern Ethiopia began to take shape. He played a crucial role in the formation of the Organization of African Unity in 1963 and remained a staunch advocate for African unity and independence. His efforts laid the groundwork for a united and independent Africa. Haile Selassie. I ruled Ethiopia for over 4 decades, from 1930 to 1974. His reign was marked by significant efforts to modernize the country, including the introduction of a new constitution and the establishment of Ethiopia as a member of the League of Nations. His reign ended with his overthrow in a military coup in 1974, a dramatic and turbulent period in Ethiopian history that led to significant changes in the nation's political landscape. However, his impact extends far beyond his time in power. On the international stage, he was a prominent advocate for African unity and independence, playing a key role in the establishment of the Organization of African Unity. He remains a complex and controversial figure, with a legacy that is both celebrated and critiqued. His policies and actions continue to be the subject of intense debate among historians and scholars. He is revered by many for his modernization efforts and his stand against colonialism. His vision for Ethiopia included significant infrastructure projects and educational reforms aimed at bringing the country into the modern era. His legacy is particularly potent within Rastafarianism, a religious movement that emerged in Jamaica in the 1930s. Rastafarians regard him as a divine figure, the living manifestation of Jah, and a symbol of resistance against oppression. Rastafarians see Selassie as the embodiment of God, the living manifestation of Jah. His image and teachings continue to inspire and guide the Rastafarian community worldwide. He is a symbol of black liberation and Pan-African consciousness, representing the struggle for freedom and unity across the African continent. Haile Selassie's life was a tapestry woven from ambition, resilience, and a commitment to his nation's progress. His leadership was characterized by a relentless pursuit of modernization and a deep sense of responsibility towards his people. He was a modernizer, a Pan-Africanist, and an icon of resistance. His efforts to unite African nations and his defiance against colonial powers have left an indelible mark on history. His legacy continues to inspire, provoke debate, and shape understandings of African history and identity. Haile Selassie remains a towering figure whose influence is felt across generations and continents.